If a cop asks, "What's in the glove box?" one bad answer can turn a simple stop into a very bad night. Pause. And the scary part is, most drivers talk themselves into trouble before they even know they're in trouble. Quick question before we continue. Are you subscribed? Because what I'm about to reveal could help you avoid saying the one thing police can use against you later. Hit that button now. Here are the 4 words. I don't answer questions. That's it. Simple, calm, clear. Not rude, not aggressive, not smart-mouthed. Just 4 words that can stop you from handing over evidence with your own mouth. Now, before anybody gets the wrong idea, let me say this right up front. This is not about picking a fight with police. This is about protecting yourself during one of the most stressful moments you can face as a gun owner or even just as a normal driver. Because stress makes people ramble. Stress makes people guess. Stress makes people try to sound innocent. And that is exactly when people say things they can never take back. So let me break this down for you. Because there's one huge exception you need to know if you carry a firearm, and if you miss that part, you could make a serious mistake. First thing, you need to understand why this question is so dangerous. Most people hear, "What's in the glove box?" and think it's just small talk. It's not. It can be a test, it can be a safety question, it can be a phishing question, and sometimes it's both. Imagine you're at a traffic stop. Your heart is pounding. The lights are flashing. The officer walks up and says, "License and registration." Your registration is in the glove box. Maybe your insurance card is in there too. Maybe there's also a handgun in there. Maybe there's ammo. Maybe there's nothing but junk papers and napkins. Then the officer asks, "What's in the glove box?" That is the moment a lot of people blow it. They say, "Oh, nothing." Bad idea if that is not true. They say, "Just my gun, but it's legal." Also risky, depending on your state and the way it comes out. They say, "Why are you asking me that?" Now the mood changes, or they start reaching. That might be the worst move of all. Here's what just happened. The officer asked a question that could get you to admit something, reveal something, or make a sudden movement. Any one of those can raise the temperature fast. And here's the part nobody talks about enough. At a normal traffic stop, police usually do not have to read you Miranda rights before asking questions. That shocks people. They think, if I wasn't read my rights, my words can't be used. That is not how real life works on the roadside. A traffic stop is usually treated differently from a full arrest. So if you start talking, those statements can still hurt you later. That is why I don't answer questions matter so much. It is short, it is clear, and it tells the officer you are not volunteering information. But wait, there's something even more important. Saying those 4 words does not mean you ignore lawful commands. It does not mean you refuse to hand over your license, registration, or proof of insurance when the law requires it. It does not mean you get to argue on the side of the road. And it definitely does not mean you lie. Let me say that again. Do not lie. A lot of people think silence makes them look guilty, so they try to talk their way out. That is how they end up saying things like, "I forgot it was in there," or "That's my cousin's," or "I only had 1 beer." Those little statements become big evidence later. So what should you do instead? Keep your hands visible, stay calm, tell the officer where your documents are before you move. If your registration is in the glove box, say that, then ask how the officer wants you to proceed. That is smart. That is safe. That shows you are not making surprise movements. And if the officer asks again, "What's in the glove box?" your safest general response is still, "I don't answer questions." Notice what you are not doing. You are not arguing. You are not confessing. You are not guessing. You are not giving a nervous speech that can be picked apart later. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you'll learn in my next video about the 5 words that can protect you when police ask about your gun. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Now, this is where it gets interesting because gun owners have an extra layer of risk here. Most people think the rule is simple. Never tell police anything. But the truth is, that can be wrong if you carry a firearm. Why? Because state law matters a lot. Some places have what people call a duty to inform. That means the law may require you to tell an officer you're carrying a gun. In some states, you must tell them right away. In others, only if asked. In others, there's no duty to inform at all. So the worst mistake you can make is copying what somebody on the internet said without checking your state law first. Here's a hypothetical example to explain this. Let's say you are lawfully carrying and your handgun is in the glove box with your registration. You get pulled over, the officer asks for registration. You know the gun is in there too. If you just swing open that glove box without warning, you could create panic in a split second. Even if you did nothing illegal, that movement can look dangerous. So the smart move is not to lunge for the glove box. The smart move is to say something calm like, "Officer, my registration is in the glove box, and I want to let you know there is also a lawfully possessed firearm in there. How would you like me to proceed?" That is not the same as volunteering your whole life story. That is a safety statement tied to a document request and your legal duty. Now, quick legal note, This is educational information, not legal advice. Always consult an attorney for your specific situation. Here's what most people get wrong. They think the 4 words are magic. They are not magic. They are a tool. And like any tool, you have to use it in the right situation. If the officer is asking an investigative question like, what's in the glove box, or do you have anything illegal in the car, or where are you coming from, then I don't answer questions can protect you. If the officer gives you a lawful order, like step out of the car, that is different. Courts allow officers to order drivers out during traffic stops, so do not confuse your right to stay quiet with a right to disobey. Those are not the same thing. And if the officer asks for documents you are legally required to provide them, calmly, slowly, with clear notice before you move. Now, let me break down the second phrase every smart driver should know after the first 4 words. If police ask to search your car, the answer is, I do not consent. That matters because people give consent all the time without realizing it. The officer says, mind if I take a look? The driver says, I guess. That can be enough. And once you consent, you may lose one of your strongest arguments later.